Happy Wednesday, everybody. Still down here in Cabo, having the time of our life. There are 11 of us, and man, we all get along so good. This is our third year in a row bringing different friends. My Kimberly Marie, my wife, she's the best at this, man. She organizes it, and we're so fortunate to have good friends. Friends are everything. They sure are. There is an old saying, though. It says, where does that go? Family isn't everything. It's the only thing. We love our family. We love our family very much. However, friends are nice. Friends are nice. So this is our third year in a row where Kim has got a hold of friends. And my gosh, it's been like 12 friends, 12 and 12, 48, 48, about 60. We've had about 60 different friends. Wow. That makes me think I've never added that up. That's pretty cool. So far, we've got 60 good friends. All right. That's the first time I've ever added that up. It was right here in front of you all. Okay. It's Wednesday, and it's hump day. Herman Schrader is out this morning. Have you checked it out? It's over there on Dirty Mo podcast. It's getting really good, Herman Schrader. It's growing in leaps and bounds. We're averaging 18 to 20,000 viewers per week. Thank you so much. Who would have ever known? That was all Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Mike Davis' idea. It was Dale Jr. and Mike Davis' idea. They said, man, we want you and Schrader to do a show. And I'm like, why? They said, because y'all are the OGs, the original guys, and we want to hear from your point of view. And I said, really? So very cool. And it's doing good over there. Sponsor. Got a great new sponsor, Fox Factory Vehicles. So go over and check it out, Herman Schrader, or go to foxfactoryvehicles.com, and you can build your own truck. Okay. One of those deals where I always say, woke up this morning, had no idea what I was going to say. And I got on social media, and there it was. Somebody that was very weak, some person that was very weak and angry. They said, I work for the man, and he will always keep you pressed down. Somebody said that. I work for the man, and he will always keep you pressed down. We have no chance to get ahead. And I made a simple response, and it's gone big. And I was like, whoa, woke up this morning. My response was this: or you can start your own business and take the same chances that they do. Let's discuss this. Okay. I understand that there's a larger group of people out in the world that are just pissed that they work for the man, right? Ladies are awesome too. There's ladies that own their own business. But when a lady owns her own business, they realize how hard it is, and the lady becomes tough too. So man or woman, doesn't matter. There's not very many people out there that have backbone and mature and know the rules. Now, for the most part, you're going to have people that have zero backbone, and I call those the mob. They're the ones that sit down there and they're throwing darts. You should do this. This is what you should do. You're no good. In other words, it's the people that complain but have no solutions. In other words, they're not leaders. Let me say it again. For the most part, the mob are people that complain, they throw darts, and they have no solution. They don't know what to do. They are not leaders. They are complainers. People that start businesses, you have to have a plan going in, and you have to have a backbone. You got to be tough. You got to know what's up, and you got to know how the world works. To own a business, you have business taxes. You got to supply 401ks. You got to supply insurance. So if you own a business, Mark Martin said it best. I'm going to repeat what Mark Martin said to me one day. because his dad, Julian Martin, owned a trucking company. Very successful man. I miss Julian Martin, the great Julian Martin, Mark Martin's dad. JMI. I'd see those tractor trailers go up and down Missouri, Arkansas. Julian Martin Incorporated. So Mark Martin's super smart. You know, Mark don't ever bitch. He's a badass. He said, Herman, there's a cost to doing business. Let me explain this so the dumb people can understand. Take $10. Sometimes it costs $7, $8 to run your business, and then you only got $2 or $3 left. When you start a business, there are a lot of rules the government sets out in place. If you got over 2 people, you must supply workman's comp insurance, and that is not cheap. Workman's comp. Then you got to pay business taxes. And the government says you need to supply a 401k. You need to supply insurance. You see that? That's a lot right there. The dream is to own a business, take off when you want, do what you want, but you're going to work twice as hard. Now, when you become an employee, you just work for somebody. When you work for somebody, all you do is go to work. Your taxes get taken out of your paycheck. When you get your paycheck, that's your paycheck. So if you receive, let's say you make $52,000 a year, $1,000 a week. Let's say you make $52,000 a year. When you get your paycheck, your Social Security is taken out, and your employer might say, hey, I'm adding on to your 401k, but I'm not going to pay it all. I'll pay half. When you get your paycheck, it's clear cut. You get it all. That's yours. So in other words, let's say you make $1,000 a week and you end up with $650, $700. That's $650, $700. That's all yours. Now you're going to bitch that, I had to pay I had to pay Social Security, I had to pay taxes. But the man, he's got to match your 401k, and then he's got to pay, taxes on running a business. Sometimes a business is not what it's wrapped up to be. Now, I had a business called Arrowwing LLC. Arrowwing, I owned 12 rental homes, and you gotta have insurance on the homes. You gotta put money aside for insurance for the homes, even though people rent them. So I own 12 rental homes, but I had to put money aside for the taxes. I had to put money aside for the insurance. Even though the renter has their insurance, I have to supply insurance in case the renter destroys my shit. So as the sitcom said, listen up, big dummies. Get your shit together. Quit talking so stupid. Now, I'm not chewing your ass out. I'm just hoping this helps some of you dumb people out there that go, that's why you work for somebody. Because you don't have what it takes. You don't. And it's okay to admit it. Hey, I'm not Jeff Gordon, and I admit it. I'm not Kyle Larson. I admit it. So just admit when you're dumb and you can't run a business and you get on social media and run that mouth of yours. Oh, a little spicy right there. You deserve that ass chewing because you're dumb and you try to act smart. Stay your lane. Like me, I stay my lane. I talk about what I know and what I'm good at. I don't try to be somebody I'm not. I don't. So the next time you see a business owner, encourage them because they give you a job. Talk good about a business owner. Have a great Wednesday, everybody.